Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Special. This is going to be episode 18. We got something really fun for you guys this week, as we're going to be talking all about Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. And as of this recording, it's 1 week away from its re-release and making its third trip to a Nintendo console. And with our today special guest, Jordan, why don't you say hi to all the fine folks out there, buddy?
Everybody.
That was very good. You did exactly as I said. All right.
Well, thank you.
So you might say, well, what's Jordan's credentials? Why is he talking? Well, he's my buddy, and he knows Xenoblade Chronicles. We have a shared love of this, but you have special insight as you have actually played the first one. Did you do on the Wii originally?
Yeah, I did it originally on the Wii. To be honest with you, it came out towards the end of the Wii's kind of life cycle, and I saw it, I think, in a GameStop somewhere, and I had heard it was good. I really didn't know a lot about the game, so I just picked it up, and honestly, it was incredible. I didn't know what to expect, and it was amazing.
I think those are the best experiences when you kind of take a chance on something you have known nothing about. Like, hey, this looks kind of cool. And certainly when it came out on the Wii, I mean, there was nothing like it on that system at all.
No, I mean, it kind of... I think it's just a shame that it came out so late, because I think it really could have benefited a lot if it were earlier.
It's been so weird because you say it came out so late, and then they re-release it for the new 3DS, which has practically no games besides it for it that required that system. So
yeah,
kind of feel like Nintendo botched that game twice. So maybe that's why we're getting this third shot at it.
Maybe. I mean, I certainly wasn't willing to buy that. I already had a 3DS, so I wasn't really willing to buy that new version just for that. And I forget what other game they released on that, but I mean, there weren't many.
I can't recall. Was it maybe like a Star Fox, or I don't know?
I think so. I can't remember, but it wasn't worth it in my opinion. I don't think, to get a brand new one if you already had it. So
that's just it. It made, I couldn't really tell any noticeable difference. Just the fact that you could suddenly play these games that you couldn't play anywhere else. And I don't know. Nintendo doesn't talk about that one very much. I think they might have messed up a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of just swept that under the rug, I think. So.
So you didn't know what it was. So that means, had you not played Xenosaga series or Xenogears previously?
I had played them, but I just didn't think it was related. I mean, it didn't. I know it's stupid because it's like Xeno, but I just didn't really occur to me that would be that related in any way. But yeah, I played Xenogears. I still have my original copy of Xenogears for the PS1, and I loved that game when I played it. And I just remember it was pretty long for back then, I think, but I really enjoyed it a lot.
And then you're also a fan of the Saga series on PS2?
Yeah, I have Xenosaga, and you know what? For some reason, I don't remember why, but when I started Xenosaga 2, somehow I have it, and I just lost interest. I never finished it. I to be honest with you, I don't even remember why I stopped playing it, but I remember I really liked the original Xenosaga.
You probably fell asleep during one of the hour-long cutscenes and just
maybe
gave up on it. No, and you say that was stupid thing, they're not related. I had no clue. I did not kind of make that connection until not very long ago that, this is some sort of shared world, although it has, I mean, one's in space. I mean,
yeah.
This one's on, giant shoulders. So I don't necessarily know what the connection is, but other than Xeno, the word.
Yeah, I couldn't really figure it out, and I'm not the best of remembering stories of games I played. Like, to be honest with you, I think I beat Xenosaga. Oh, man, it'd have to be probably 16 or 17 years ago or something. So
right.
It's too hard to remember what the connection might even be.
I would love to see that remastered, that whole series. It's not going to happen, but
I'd love to give it another shot too. Yeah,
I would too. I really like that series, and you said you dropped out on 2. 2 was, in my opinion, that was the weakest one of them.
Okay, that's good to know. So I should have kept going and gotten to 3, you think?
I thought 3 was just phenomenal.
Right.
They really kind of upped the engine a little bit on it and made things look really good. I thought the first one really had a good anime look to it. By the third, it was very crisp and clean looking. And they kind of finally finished that long. Because remember, that series was supposed to be 6 games, and they cut it down to 3.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I don't. That's probably a good thing, because I think that would have really petered out towards the end of it.
one of the only other things I remember from the first game is I remember being in my dorm room playing it because I was in college at the time, and I remember all my roommates going around going Cosmos, Cosmos all the time. That's all I remember.
And rightfully so. What a great character she is.
Yeah.
We got a thing for robot chicks in JRPGs, so she was a natural. Well, so that's
they did carry that through the Xenoblade, right? They carried through the robot characters through Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and all that as well.
They did. I mean, including bringing her back. So I thought that was an excellent addition to the blades of Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I thought that was awesome, actually.
I think, if I recall, I didn't actually know that she was in there, and then all of a sudden, like, bam, I was like, what?
Me neither. Yeah, it really surprised me. I didn't know.
And then, of course, Telos as well, so you could have your, a little reunion there.
I thought that was really cool. It was cool.
They did a very good job on that. So I guess we can go ahead and segue into, before we get into Chronicles 2, or Chronicles 1, rather. This is such a weird thing to even, the order's completely messed up. You just completed part 2 not long ago, right?
Right, yeah, it was only a few weeks ago, yeah.
Wow, so it's extremely fresh. You're probably going to be much fresher than I am on this. What was the type of things that you liked best about part 2?
Well, I liked a few of the characters, like I would say like Morag. I really liked. There were a few characters like her and Mithra that I really liked a lot. There were some really cool characters. I would say also. The battle system was something that I thought when I first started playing it, I was like, man, this is so confusing and everything, and I didn't understand all the things that went into it. I feel like, and there might be some people, if you give this game a chance and you're like, what is going on here? You just have to kind of stick with it. And honestly, I really enjoyed it once I got the hang of it. I mean, you could build up, these combos that would end up doing just millions of damage, and you could pretty much like obliterate. If you were good enough with setting it all up, you could obliterate a boss, when they were at like 3/4 of their health left too. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I love how at the end of the combo, it always shows like the damage that was incurred for that.
Yeah, that is really cool.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you can just keep killing an enemy after they're already dead too. You just do the overkills. I thought that was cool.
That's always a good thing. I always love overkills, but yeah, I completely agree. Like, I felt like I was probably a good quarter of the way into that game before I even knew really what I was doing with that battle system. You feel like you're doing the right thing, and of course it's auto battle for the most of it. You're really just there to do the extra combo attacks, but it's so much fun. You got to give it a little while till you know what you're doing.
I don't know if I really knew what I was doing with it. I'm going to say I might have been even in before I knew what I was doing with it.
And I know I felt bad because I think at one point you sent me a message like, how do I do this thing? I was like,
that was in the beginning, I remember.
I don't think I know or could tell, could tell you how to do something. Like, I'm sure I did it, but how? I don't know. I was so bad at those things. They turned into like mini time events, and I'm just not very good at those, period.
Oh yeah, they did have a lot of timing events, pressing buttons. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that, but that was okay.
It kind of made more, since you're not attacking all the time, they had to change some things up, I guess. So you said like Morag, like I thought she was a great character of like somebody at first you're like, man, she is so stiff and rigid. I don't know if I like her at all. And by the time in the game, she's one of the best characters. Like, she was in my party always at that point.
They added a lot of layers, I felt like, to her character as it developed, and I really like that. And yeah, I used her as my tank in my party the whole time. I don't know what you used her as. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, I put her out there. She was indestructible most of the time.
She's really indestructible. I mean, some of her abilities, it's almost like she's getting attacked and she's gaining health the whole time. And it's pretty much she was.
One of the things I've found interesting and going through, message boards and seeing different comments, like with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I feel like no two people really played that game the same way in terms of party build. Like, it really gave you a lot of flexibility, and with changing up the different blades, you could do pretty much whatever you want. You could turn any character into any role.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, you really could. I don't know why mine kind of developed the way it was. I had X as the attacker, and I had all attack blades on him, and then I had E as a healer, and Morag was the tank. And initially, I remember when I first talked to you about it, you're playing with Cora in the beginning, and you told me that it'd be a character who'd be a lot better, and then I saw what you meant when I meant Morag. So
yes, exactly. And then at the end, I was Rex, Morag, and Zeke. Like that was
you ended up using Zeke, okay?
I did. I he was such a cool dude. I couldn't keep him out of it. Like he made me laugh so much.
Oh, he was funny. I mean, him and Nia, the back and forth between them was just
it was
hilarious.
Great. But then, like, I've seen so many other people, like, they swear by Nia, and I mean, most people, they were Poppy fanatics. Like that was the way to break. They broke the game with her, and I'm like, I can't even use her. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. I want to, but I can't.
Yeah. I thought she was okay. Maybe I just didn't give her enough of a chance because once I got on Morag, I was kind of like, well, this is awesome. I'm not getting my party's indestructible, so I didn't go back,
Yeah, now once you find it, why would you want to mess with it? Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I always thought. Now, were you one of these ones that used the generic blade people with the best stats, or did you choose, the designed ones?
I had the rare, the rare ones, the design ones. Those were the ones I really used. I would say those generic ones, I just used them. You know how you have to have certain levels of field skills to do certain things in the game, get up to a certain height and all that.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I basically use those generic ones for that, just to kind of combine all the levels together. I'm sure you did that too.
You had to. Because you really couldn't do that. That and the ones that were extra lucky for the draws with the crystals, tried to get more of the rare blades. I would have. Oh
my God, that was so random. I just feel like that's one of the things. I don't mean to. I think this is a fantastic game, so I don't mean to get on a rant about it, but just. It's like you get these legendary crystals that are supposed to give you the rarest blade, and you end up going through 15 of them, and you don't even get one. I don't get it.
I think that's the fairest criticism of the game because it's kind of just dumb. Like, you put so much effort into it, you get your lucks maxed out, legendary crystal, and you get random dude with terrible stats.
I just found that so frustrating at times. So it made me not want to sit there and, eventually try to create these different blades when it didn't even seem to matter what crystal I was using. I think one time I used a common crystal and then I got a rare one,
I think that it almost seemed like it was more that way.
I felt like sometimes the game was mocking me when it did that. I'm not sure, but
it's not just you. Like they even talked to the developers like, okay, what's the deal with this? Like, is there any way to actually increase your chances? Like, not really. Here's a complex math formula that may explain it, but it doesn't. It doesn't help you at all. Like, really? Like, because I tried. One of the reasons why I put 275 hours into this ridiculous game.
You put a ton of hours into it.
It was so ridiculous. Was to try to get all the blades, and I still missed out on one of them.
You know what you missed out on, or you don't know?
It was some wind blade. That's pretty much all I could tell you. And it wasn't even somebody that I wanted in my party. Just I wanted to have them all.
Yeah.
I think
you didn't miss it. You didn't miss out on Zenobia, did you?
No. She was one of my mains for sure.
Who were the ones that you usually use to accompany your party members?
It was definitely Zenoria. Is that how you say it?
I think it's Zenobia. I think it is. I think. Anyway, yeah.
Zeno Shinobi. Yeah, whatever her name was. I definitely found myself with Cosmos or Telos a lot of times just because I thought they were so cool. And the chick in the bathtub ended up in my party a lot. I can't remember her name.
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember her name.
I don't know why, but she seemed to always do quite well for me. But really, you could pick so many different ones, and of course, with Pyra or Mithra or whatever, they weren't coming out of the party. So,
no, they don't come out of the party. Yeah, so you have to have them in there.
Okay, so here's the hard choice: are you Team Pyra or Team Mithra?
That was hard. I ended up choosing Pyra, but barely. That was a difficult one for me.
You chose correctly, sir. Good job. I was going to have to just cut the entire podcast off if you had answered incorrectly. So you did good.
I would have expected as much.
So we talked about the draw luck system. Was there anything else you didn't care for, or was that pretty much it?
I have a couple gripes. Like one is just I found myself spending a lot of time in the menus. Like I'm guessing I probably spent I beat it in like 165 hours, and I bet you I spent probably 30 or 40 hours in menus. I think. I mean, because you have to do you have the WP to level up the weapons driver abilities.
Oh my gosh!
Then you got to separately level up those drivers' special stats or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Then you got to equip the right accessories and pouch items and make sure your blade likes that pouch item. Then you got to check your blade's abilities menu to make sure you're progressing through their ability chart. And then you got to refine your aux cores or whatever they are.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And make sure they're on the right blades. And then if you want to perform certain field skills, you got to combine all your blades in the right way and make sure you combine the levels. So I just found it was a lot of menus. That's only one thing,
Yeah, you're probably right. It could probably add a good 30 hours to the total. It's just,
Yeah.
Which I'm the type of guy that I love like rearranging my equipment and like getting the best things, but like they took that to the extreme, to the point of tedium.
It was extreme. Like I like it too, but sometimes I was ready to get going on the next quest or whatever. I'm like, oh, I just want to get going here,
Wait a minute, I've got to go into the menu again. Just hold that boss fight for a minute there, Chief.
It was like that a lot, I think.
And of course, I mean, when you're first starting off, there was nothing better than, you're at level 5 and you run into the level 99 gorilla running around there.
Oh my God, that did happen to me right in the beginning. There's that big gorilla running around the field, and he just wrecked me. That was just over.
And you are you're over hundreds of hours in before you can even touch the guy. Oh man. Or
satisfying though when I finally went back and beat him. It was very satisfying.
Oh, it was so great. But I mean, he wasn't the only one. Like you could easily draw the attention of something that you did not want to, and then it's game over.
Oh yeah, and they chase you forever too. It's like you think you gotten away, and it's chasing you and across the entire plains or whatever. It's just and it's very frightening too when that happens.
It is. There's around that same area. There's a flying monster around the tree. And he would always chase me and like attack from super far away and still kill you. Oh man, it was terrible, but Well, you beat me to my last question of you said about 165 to beat it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm nothing compared to you, I guess. But I think at that time, I was starting to overlap with Remake, and I was like, okay, I got to get this wrapped up. So.
This needs to end right now. This is remake time. I think I just kept on because I didn't have anything else at the time, and then I did actually play into a little bit of Torna. So, and at that point, you asked me too if that was worth going into, and you obviously you had a better game to get to, but
yeah,
I think I've been playing it too long, and I probably didn't give it a fair shake. So if you've got it, I would say to go back to it at some point for sure.
I do have it. It is in my backlog, my ever expanding backlog. So yeah, I hope I get back to it at some point. Yeah.
Did you buy the expansion season pass for all that stuff?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That's so funny because I don't do that. That is not something I do, but it's like for this game, I had to have it all.
Yeah, I decided just to get it, but I mean, I feel like to make it worth it, I really need to get to that in my backlog. So
eventually, and it will, tell a pretty cool story of how everything came to be. So,
I mean, there's some things I guess that aren't explained, or maybe some of the scenes that already kind of indicate how everything came to be. You'd like to see some of that a little bit more. So I'm sure it gives you that chance, right?
Yeah, like it's definitely going to show Jen. Like I think that's the main story of what happened with this guy, and why is he such a bad guy, and how Mithra came to be. And Morag's in it too. It's kind of like, oh, how old are these people? Yeah, and Brigadine or whatever her
Brigid or Bridget, whatever.
Yeah, I mean they're in your party. That's them. But they just I loved their battle system so much. They definitely changed some things in Torna, and everybody's like, oh, it's such a better battle system. I didn't think it was. I did not care for it as much.
I mean, is there still the elemental orbs and the full burst and all that stuff, or is it just totally different? Or
I mean, it's a little fuzzy. I'll be honest. But like they make you a party, and so you don't have all the blades to choose from.
Oh.
So I felt like that kind of took away more than I wanted to, and but most people loved it. So I don't think my opinion was something to base it off of, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I still want to get to it regardless anyway, so hopefully it'll happen. It might not happen after. I'm trying to get to, all the Cold Steel games now, so I don't know if it'll happen for a while, but eventually.
No, you just signed up for like a year and a half of games there.
Oh,
so.
Man.
That's a whole nother rabbit hole that you're going to go down, and hopefully you'll be in time for 4 whenever we get it in the West.
I'm going to try. I'll do my best. I mean, I guess the Sky trilogy, I don't think those games are quite as long. The second one in that trilogy took me about 70 hours. The first one, 40. And, I mean, altogether, it might have been all like 150 hours, all 3 of those. So I don't know. Maybe the Cold Steel games are long individually. I don't know.
They definitely are. Like, I was definitely pushing 80 hours each. So,
Okay.
and then I think part 3 was even longer. So... yeah, they're long games, and of course, like anything else, you could play it quicker, but we're side quest people, so that's the way we go.
Yeah, I mean, did you have any in Xenoblade Chronicles 2? Do you remember any side quests that you really loved in particular, like any ones that stick out?
Not especially. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Like,
I know it's been a while, probably. So
the factory ones I thought were pretty interesting, where you're like going down giant chutes, and I just love that map in particular.
That was cool. That was a cool map.
Yeah, like
factory. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like exploring through there, I feel like it was a little different than most of the games where it's most of the games is organic. You're inside the giant. Oh gosh, I've lost the word for it. Titans, but
oh yeah,
yeah, this was definitely it was constructed, and it was metal, and like I don't know, just felt like those were pretty cool missions.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, and it was I kind of got lost in there, but I thought it was cool.
Oh yeah, riding the chairlift things to try to get to the one enemy that's like on top of a post somewhere. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know why, because that was really dumb. The mechanics weren't great for it, but you could. I don't know that like going to the top of the tree and jumping off the highest point and then in the water. I thought those were some pretty incredible moments.
It was. I was thinking. I think that thing on the top of the chairlifts was Tattooed Hugo. There was like a unique monster up there that was hard to get to. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I guarantee that's probably one of the guys I was going after.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a little frustrating when I remember trying to get him. It was a little bit.
It was. I mean, jumping was definitely a secondary action in that game. It wasn't.
It was, yeah.
It's not a jumping game, but you were required to do it at certain points.
Did you finish that? I don't know if there's that one blade called Ursula, and she had to develop her talents, like her voice talents and her acting talents and stuff. Did you do that? Do you remember that?
I'm almost positive I did about all those things. Yeah. Ursula, was Ursula? No, she wasn't the one in the bathtub. No. I was trying to think that was for a minute. Yeah. I probably should have went back and gave myself more of a refresher, but it's a lot.
There's so much stuff in this game. It's whatever.
It was a very, very long game, but yeah, so let's do this. Let's take just a quick pause here, and I think it's a good time for a break. We'll come back with, we'll talk about the game we're supposed to be talking about the whole time, right? All right, so we'll take a quick break and be right back with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition here on the JRPG Report. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are on Sunday Special 18 with our special guest, Jordan. Are you still with us, buddy?
Still here.
Oh, good. We didn't lose the connection. I didn't know if... So you've been having some problems up there, you said, with your internet, so is that right?
It's been... it was a couple of days ago, but luckily it's been good today, so hopefully it'll stay that way.
Knock on wood. We got through the first part, and so we're really... we're getting into it. We're going to actually talk about Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I feel like we properly set the table with everything. So now this is why you're here, buddy. Because I literally know that I love the second game so much. I'm looking forward to this thing. I have very little experience other than when Shulk and Fiora show up as Blades in Chronicles 2. That's literally my level of experience. So what?
That surprised me when they showed up, actually. I didn't know that was going to happen.
No, I thought that was interesting, and it was definitely like that we should have all known at that point that these are we're going to be getting a remake of Chronicles 1. So you played this back on the Wii, and so what? How long would that have been? 8 years? How long is it?
Yeah, I think I finished it in 2013, so like 7 years ago I finished it.
Okay, so it's definitely been a while. What would you say, other than we know there's the new Future Connected episode to it? So have you seen anything, or would you know of any differences from this version for what it was before?
Just when I looked into it, I mean, it seems like the core story, it sounds like it's pretty much the same, but the it just seems like there's the biggest difference with, I'd say, the graphics. I mean, it seemed like they really cleaned those up a lot. I remember when I played it on Wii, I think the story was so good, I kind of gave the graphics pass, and I think they were as good as they could have been on the Wii. But when you see how they kind of, like, I've seen some of the videos or screenshots of Definitive Edition, it just looks, it looks like a pretty big difference. They cleaned them up a pretty good deal.
I mean, bless the Wii's heart. It was not the most powerful system ever. It was definitely made for motion, and different types of gameplay. But if you go back and look at the videos it looked bad. Like, what they were trying to do, they didn't do particularly well, at least in my opinion, from what I saw.
I think it really pushed the Wii. I think that was like the Wii's maximum capacity, for that kind of game, unfortunately. But I think they tried their best.
They did their best with a system that wasn't designed for that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was made for Wii Sports and characters with no legs. So that was kind of where they were at.
Oh, yeah.
But no, they look like they did a great job. Like, I've definitely read some things to where they didn't really touch too much, like the story, the music. It's all there, just polished up, so to speak.
Well, I think the music, I think they made it sound even a lot better. And I read some things that said maybe better than Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I would question that. I thought the music in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was incredible, and the quality with the orchestra, the orchestra and everything just really like made you feel a lot of the emotion in a lot of the key moments. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Xenoblade Chronicles, the original, the soundtrack was great too, but I just, if they didn't rework all the music with an orchestra for this definitive edition, it just makes me feel like I don't know if it could quite rival the quality of the second game.
No, I doubt it. I think I did read that they did not go back and make it orchestra sound.
Yeah.
So I don't see how they could, compete with that. It'll be really interesting. I would love to see side by side part 1 and part 2 of these remakes and see which one looks better.
The thing is, I know we've been talking before about this, but I just really, I'm totally jealous of you. Like, I wish I could experience this, for the first time now, and it kind of drives me a little nuts when things like this happen. I feel like I get so many games. There's a few other games like The World Ends With You that they re-released, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions and things they re-released, on Switch that I bought for the Wii U originally that I haven't played yet. It's in my backlog, so it really frustrates me that I didn't play it yet, and now I feel like I have to spend money for another game. So
yeah, you get to buy it again. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am loving how I feel. I wasn't all in right away on this one. Even with my love of part 2, I just wanted to see a little bit more of it. But yeah, every little bit. Well, Nintendo they didn't show a whole lot of this one. They kept it under wraps quite a bit. And it's only been recently that they've really kind of talked about it. They do that kind of with every game. But so I'm glad I can finally experience this one, that's for sure. I think we had a Wii like my parents probably had one, but I didn't. It was something weird like that. I mean, they bought it for Wii Sports. It was such a weird system that
it was
that did not cater towards gamers. I didn't feel it was made for much more casual family experience, which is great because I mean we need stuff like that. But I never got into it. I was happy with my GameCube, but that was where it ended for Nintendo until I got back into the Switch.
What? I mean, some people just kind of skipped over the Wii because of its kind of casual gamer appeal, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely, spurned at gamers just a little bit. They still brought out a few titles, and hint, we may talk about that later. But what are there any connections that you know of between these two games other than in name?
Yeah, I definitely do, and unfortunately, because I just don't want to spoil, I can't really tell you. But if you played the second one, you will see when you play the first one. You'll see how they're connected, and I think it'll be pretty satisfying.
Excellent.
And a weird thing is that to me, it doesn't matter what order you play the games in. Like they kind of can really go either way. It's almost like they're just two halves that form a whole. It doesn't really matter the order, in my opinion. So.
Okay, so can you say, is there like chronologically, does one still come before two, or would that give too much away?
I think I might give too much.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate you not answering that if that's exactly what it is. That's just things I've been curious about. Is maybe they did release it like this for a reason. It's you don't need to play them in any order. It's fine either way.
I think that's what's cool about it. Like what I will say is you won't feel like going back and seeing the events leading up to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You know what I mean? Like it'll feel really cool. That like just in the way that it's just another part to a whole story.
Okay, very cool. What from you've seen other than maybe the visuals? Like, have you seen anything else that's improved? That's kind of like, oh my gosh, that's so good. I'm glad they did that.
I think some of the menus, it looks like they improved some of the design of some of the menus and ease around them. And I think some of the old menus also had this. Well, I guess I'm going back to graphics a little bit with this one, but a little bit of ugly neon green kind of colors in some of the menu, and they kind of fixed that. But the overall organization just looks, nicer too. And some of the icons, as you're in a battle that are around the screen, they just look easier to read.
That's good.
So it looks like you could control things kind of in the battle a little easier.
Are we going to be spending 30 hours in the menus like we did in part 2?
No. Okay. No. I will say that definitely Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had a lot more time in the menus. I did not remember doing that in the first game.
That's good because I mean that would have been terrible using that Wii mode to try to navigate menus.
Yeah, it would have been terrible.
There were
one thing I remember is that in both games though they still do have the fall damage. Like when you fall from a height, you take the damage kind of similarly.
Okay, so you can die. That's from too high. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, that's fine as long as that's the same. Now, I've been trying to see. It does look like it's still auto battle in terms of your average attacks. Is that right?
Yeah, it is, and it's different in that in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 they have the driver arts on the right side of the screen, bottom right. But in Xenoblade Chronicles, like the original game, actions you do are all in like a line, like a horizontal line. The arts are all at the bottom of the screen. It's kind of a little different in that way. And there aren't really, you can kind of chain together attacks with your party members, but there aren't like this big, like, I guess, epic attacks that there are in the second game.
Obviously, since there's not, that dual fighting going on with two people, that makes sense. Would you say it's better or the same in terms of a system?
I would say it's just as good. It's just a little different, but I don't think in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that they improved upon it. I just think it's different.
Okay. That's good. I don't know what answer I was looking for there, but I will take that one. Oh gosh. So yeah, obviously Future Connected is brand new. Are you going to play through the game again, or are you going to skip right to it?
I just haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, sometimes for example, I read part of a book a while ago that I was interested in, but then I put it down, and now I feel like I kind of forgot the story, but I don't really want to start from the beginning again, you know? So I just haven't decided if I really want to go back all the way to the beginning of the story or not yet. I mean, the Future Connected part definitely interests me a lot, and that's for me, a main selling point.
Yeah.
But I still haven't made that decision yet. I'm
glad they did. I feel like they didn't have to do that. And I'm really glad they did.
Me too, yeah. I'm really happy, and I'm wondering if Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, they're kind of like two halves kind of that make a whole. I'm just kind of wondering if it'll almost build upon both games in a way. I'm curious to see what'll happen.
That's interesting. Yeah, that'll be the question is, I mean, we talked about before with 2, and then with the Torna, that they changed a few things. Obviously, they had to change some things because there weren't, all the blades involved. But that'll be interesting to see if they do change anything from part 1 into the extra episode there. That's a good point.
Well, yes, I am interested in that. I will say, I don't know if it's just my skewed memory a little bit, but in the first game, I actually remember it being more difficult. I remember dying a lot more than I died in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I feel like it was more challenging. And the unique monsters, of course, are also still there that will just totally destroy you.
I was hoping that they were... I was hoping they weren't, but then at the same time, I was like, nah, they need to be in there. That's part of their charm.
They're there, and you know, the music changes when you encounter one, and it makes you even more nervous, you know. And yeah, they're still there.
You still run away, and it still doesn't matter. Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's still the spider enemies. I don't like spiders at all, and I really didn't like them in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It really freaked me out, and they're still in the first game. So.
Oh boy, yay. Yeah. What was that? There was that one super spider that was at the bottom of the tree, like in the roots down there at the bottom.
I know it's Glamorous Alfred. I remember his name because it was, you're down in that area, and I don't know if you remember this, but before he comes down, there's already like a big queen arachno there.
Yes.
I remember I'm fighting that thing, and I'm like, oh, this thing is awful. I can't wait until this goes away. So I beat it, and all of a sudden, out of the shadows comes that humongous one. I'm thinking like, oh my god, just. Almost just froze in fear. It's just a game, and I can't even deal with it.
Is that a real life fear of yours, arachnophobia?
Yeah, I really don't enjoy spiders. I mean, I had especially trouble with Skyrim. I don't know if you played it, but I had a lot of trouble with Skyrim because of that.
We don't talk about those games here. No.
Yeah, it's not a JRPG, so we don't talk about that.
I am one of the very few, and I'm sure people are scoffing at I've not played a single Elder Scrolls. That's just not been my thing. But I know Dalton's crying right now, but that's okay.
Well, that's the only one of them I have played, but it was because of the spiders. I didn't know if I wanted to play another one. So
the best way to get over that is to have a wife and child who are also afraid of it, and then you've got to be big tough dad and take care of the spider. I'm
still hoping I can develop that skill somehow.
Make sure there's always somebody's shoe around that you can.
I can't imagine the size of the shoe that would have killed Glamorous Alfred. I don't know. So.
No, nothing would have. You had to set him directly on fire. That was.
Do you remember in that I don't know if you remember, but in that cave where you have to fight him, your blade combos could only go up to level 1. Do you remember that? You couldn't actually do some of the abilities you normally could do.
I don't know if I remember that or not.
Yeah, it's like this one area, like Spirit Crucible Elpis or something, where you just. Blades had something in the air that made the blades weaken.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I tried to stay away from there as much as possible for many reasons.
That's where you had to fight that thing. Yeah, it was awful. Yeah.
No, but that's those moments we remember because they're such cool little snippets that you don't expect. You're just out there exploring, and then all of a sudden, bam, something terrifying pops up.
Yeah, and it was there. I mean, they really surprised you with it, too, coming down the back wall. I still remember it. Yeah.
So I think I've seen enough from the previews. They still have that, British accent to their voices. Is that right?
Yeah, okay. There's still the British accents. I know like Nia, I think in the second game had like that. I just read it was more of like a Welsh accent, but I think the there's British accents, and there's also like a piratey type of accent or something like that.
Oh no. Oh no.
Like
yeah,
British pirate type of accent.
Yeah, I heard Shulk talking. I was like, oh man, they kept that, which, you know, I always love that with Dragon Quest. Like, I love that all the British different ones that they do, but I enjoy that voice acting, so I was really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I liked it, and they will say Shulk will say this one phrase over and over again that if there's, you know, your family members might pick up on it, and they'll just go around the house repeating it over and over again. So you'll see what I mean when you get there.
Oh boy. Okay, it's not the Mamundo or whatever it is.
Yeah, it is Monado. Yeah, it has to do with that. It has to do with that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he says it like 14 times in the one trailer alone, so I figured that he was going to be saying it a lot.
Yeah. So the behold the power of the Monado. He always says, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, I can't wait for that. 'Cause now this one is it like too that, you know, obviously I've got a little 6-year-old. There's really nothing in there that's going to be too bad for her to watch.
I don't think so. Not that I remember. I mean, certainly not in the real language that I remember. I think just and there's some scarier scenes, I guess. But I guess there kind of were in the second one too. So I don't know. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, she doesn't really have a problem with the scary monsters or anything like that. I think she thinks it's funny when they beat me up, to be honest. But
I mean, the spiders.
Anything, giant gorillas, spiders, people just wail on Dad. That's funny. That's good stuff.
It's great to have such support.
It is. That's what's being a family man. Same thing. It's got 3 people in your party. Is that right?
God, I don't even remember how many people were in there at this point. Since 7 years ago, I don't remember.
I would assume so. I can't imagine they would change something like that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, when I watch a couple videos, it's kind of what I remember, but I don't recall exactly since it's been so long.
Is it Nupin or Nopon? Nopon, right?
Yeah, the Nopon. Yeah, they're still there.
Okay, yeah. Thank goodness. You must have those in a game.
I didn't. Did you like Torres' voice in the second game though?
I wouldn't say that, but he was funny. Like I thought some of his stuff, especially all like the kind of pervy stuff, I just thought was, and, you know, going back to his grandfather, you know, he had a family history of it, so it's not his fault, right?
That was funny. It was I think it was Brother Takazo and Grandpa Susu or something like that.
Yes. And the original designs for Poppy, and like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense now.
And the Lila, the robot, and
oh man,
you know, the other robots, maid costumes or whatever.
Of course, they had to have. I mean, that's natural, right? You got to have a maid costume for it. So, but we're not going to get any of that kind of craziness.
I don't recall the maid. I don't think there were any maid costumes.
Okay. Who were so talk about? You said you didn't remember how many people, but what were some of the casts that really stuck out to you that you and your favorite characters?
I would say I did like Shulkov a lot. Obviously, I also like Dora a lot, and I also like Melia a lot.
Is she the sniper healer girl? Is that
okay? Yeah.
No.
So I'd say those are some of my favorites. I don't want to describe too many things about them because I just don't want to spoil whatever you're going to experience with the game. So,
you know, and they had the meet the characters video, so it's not like I don't know them, but to know more than that, I want as little as possible. I do respect Nintendo for not showing too much. It's an old game, and they still haven't shown a lot of it. Whereas I feel like, especially Square Enix, they're super bad about showing way too much stuff.
Yeah, you purposely have to avoid it. I mean, to really avoid it completely.
Why? I don't understand. Like, gamers don't usually need to be sold on too much.
Especially not for a Final Fantasy game, you know. So.
No, unless you're trying to sell us 15 and all of its flaws.
I did enjoy that. I enjoyed that game, but I mean, I saw once I played Remake, I was like, okay, this is much, much better.
To be fair, I have heard like Royal Edition does fix a lot of the problems. But that's not the game that I played, so that's all I can comment on.
I didn't play that at all either, so I don't really know what that's like.
No, maybe one day. Any other things you want to touch on with this one?
I think once you see how, the first and second games kind of fit together, I don't know what will happen, with the epilogue, the future connected, but I mean, I really think they need to have a Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I think that should be the next thing.
Good, yeah. So that's where we're heading into is there's been so much speculation on what is going to be that next Xeno game, and I think we will get a lot of clarity at the end of feature. At least have a hint at where they're going at with after Feature Connected.
I mean, one thing that's going to, like I kind of was talking about earlier, that's going to bother me is, okay, so for Wii U, I have Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I played it for about 2 hours, and then I don't know what was happening in my life at the time. I don't remember, but it doesn't hold your hand at all, and you have to kind of figure really everything out. I think at the time I wasn't really in the mood to do that, and something else was happening. I put it down, and I never came back to it. And now I feel like if the news is that they're going to re-release this game on Switch, I'm going to be pretty annoyed because now I feel like I have to get it on the Switch too.
I feel like we're going to have to. Whatever that next one is, whether it's the remaster of X2, if they make another one, or Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I don't care what it is. I'm going to get it.
They already have your money.
They got my money. They have for a long time, so why stop now? Now, I've not played X. I didn't have Wii or Wii U. X was different, though, wasn't it? It was more open world, kind of MMO type.
And from what I only played it for 2 hours, so I didn't get very far into it. But I mean, certainly seemed like it was going to be a lot more open world, and it definitely seemed more complicated already, like right from the beginning. Like if you remember how you felt with the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 battle system in the beginning, you kind of multiply that by 10.
Oh gosh.
Just in the beginning, just the learning curve is pretty steep, and I'm sure I would have gotten it after a while, but I just, I don't remember what was happening, but I didn't give it the chance at the time. So
I've heard it's quite flawed. Like, it was not as popular as the other titles were.
I heard that too, and I didn't go enough into it to see that, but I still want to play it. Still feel kind of sad that I missed it. I did read that there is one part with, again, a lot of spiders, so I'm not looking forward to that. But other than that, I would like to still experience it.
Does your Wii still work so you could play that if you wanted to?
It does, yeah. I've got the Wii, the original Wii, and also the Wii U sitting right here. It's still all set up. So.
I could not get over that Wii U, that giant tablet that it gave you.
Yeah, got it right here. It's sitting. It still charges up, and it sits in my shelf. And maybe I'll use it again sometime to play one of the games in my backlog. I don't know.
There you go. One of these years we'll get to that. So yeah. You think that I think I'd agree with you. I think the next logical step is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I think they didn't re-release this for a third time to not set up a third one coming.
I sure hope so, and it would make sense the way that the stories connect. It would make sense. It does leave the opening for this third game, so I think that would be pretty.
And that was the last.
A lot of times recent.
Yeah, that was the last I heard, was that there was, that they split the teams, and half of them were working on this, and the other half was working on a new game. So I can only assume that it's going to be this. And keep my fingers crossed, because I'd love to see them progress this world. There's so many places they can go with it, and they do new characters in each one, so it's not going to be a sequel by any stretch, I don't think.
I mean, I still think it could be, though. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think we're going to see Shulk or Rex in there.
The direct same character, yeah. Probably not. Yeah.
I would think they could connect it. Obviously, I mean they've got that world, but. Now, is it going to be on the Switch, or are we going to have a new system by then? That might be the bigger question.
I still feel like the Switch is still kind of, and I guess it has been around for a few years now, but it doesn't feel like it. Feels like it's still just kind of getting going with all this awesome games that are always adding to the library.
They are, but I mean, I don't know of stuff down the pipeline. Like, we knew all these games were coming, and we're kind of getting to the end of that now, other than the new Zelda, that new Breath of the Wild. That I kind of feel like that's like the last thing that they really got on the plate for them.
Oh, mean, there could be another Super Mario Odyssey, I guess. But
that'd be okay. I mean,
I don't know.
We're never far away from the next Mario. That's just the way it goes. But
It's true.
I don't know. I feel like it's a great system. Obviously, from a sales standpoint, they have no reason to get rid of this thing. But it's with these new, PS5 and then new Xbox Q or whatever they're calling this new one coming out this holidays. I can't keep track of it. They've completely messed up that. But
I don't know what it is either.
I think it is Series X, to be honest.
Okay.
They're gonna Switch has to do something. Like so many of their games, like my case in point is Cold Steel 3 is coming out for the Switch and it's docked at 720. The system can't even handle outputting at 1080.
Yeah,
that's sad. Like people not getting it to play that great game in its best form kind of hurts me a little bit.
I always wonder what is the reasoning for that. I mean, I know Nintendo kind of had like a slogan. I think at one time it's like, we focus on the fun in our games. You know what I mean? And they really weren't focused on the technology as much. But it's not possible to focus on both. I don't know.
I think it's the limits of the cartridge too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they're so small, and I mean, yeah, you can fit so much on these, micro SD cards now. But gaming wise, there's only so much you can fit on those things, no matter how big they get.
Yeah, that's true.
But to be able to play it at home and on the go, I think they nailed it with Switch. I love the idea. It just needs a new one here soon.
I mean, I love that too. I mean, you can just take it anywhere. If you're going traveling for a while, you don't have to worry about stopping the RPG you're playing. You can kind of continue what you're doing, and I just really like that.
It is. It's a great family. We love all playing it from time to time. So it has all the right points. Just what are they going to do next? Who knows?
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to predict it with Nintendo. So
I wouldn't try to. They're always keeping us on our toes. I mean, case in point, new Paper Mario. I mean, we hadn't even heard about that game, and it's coming out in less than 2 months.
I am so excited about that game. I own every Paper Mario game that's come out, and I couldn't have been happier that I saw that news that day.
They kind of blew it out of the water with that one. Now, I am huge Thousand Year Door guy. That's my jam.
I love that game. That is a fantastic game.
The other Paper Marios definitely don't have that tried and true JRPG format. They're different. This one doesn't seem to be either. It seems to be carrying on that kind of move away from it.
Well, since you didn't have a Wii U, you missed out on Paper Mario Color Splash, right?
I don't even know what you're talking about. No.
Okay, so I will tell you that like that game I played, I would say it's as good as Thousand Year Door. Like I played that game and had a smile on my face the entire time. I couldn't believe it. So I hope they would release that for Switch so you could experience that because it's great.
They've done every other one, so I don't know why they'd stop. I've seen
that was a great Wii U game.
I have seen gameplay on it, and it did look like a lot of fun.
It's really fun, yeah.
So on those lines, we got one more segment that we thought we'd at least throw out there for a few minutes, and that is in light of one of the best Wii games, Xenoblade Chronicles, getting a re-release. What are some other ones? And it's not a big list, Jordan.
It's not. It's a small list.
Like I was like, am I just not remembering things? I did Google searches. Like, am I missing some games? No, I don't have very many. So once you get us started here.
Well, I was thinking the one that should be remade is actually The Last Story. Do you know that one?
The Last Story. I don't think so.
It is a great. I mean, a lot of people missed it, but it actually has Nobuo Uematsu, the Final Fantasy composer. He did the music in it, and the story is great. The characters are great. It's only about 30 to 40 hours, but I thought it was really overlooked, and it just had a great story. And I would love to see that one remade. I thought it was fantastic.
Was that part of that Mistwalker studio that did that?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why that popped in my head when you said that. But I mean, so I think we had some of the same games on our list.
I think we did, yeah.
and some I know some of these are coming. The rumors have been out there for a while that Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are.
That's on my list, yeah.
I hear a lot of rumbles about them basically redoing all of them from Wii up in some way, in some sort of Mario collection. So
that would be cool.
Now, I didn't, like I said, I didn't get to actually play these, but I understand how great they are. I don't need to play them to know that.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a chance to play them, obviously, well, you already know they're fantastic.
They're Mario. I mean, there's very few. I loved Sunshine. I played every second of that one, and then I've played through, Odyssey with my little one. So I feel like I'm kind of missing the in-between story there.
So you recommend I play Sunshine because I own it. It's in my backlog and I never played it.
Yes, I am a huge Sunshine fan. Now there's a lot of people that somehow didn't care for it with the water pack on his back and all that fun stuff. But I thought it was phenomenal. Very colorful, bright, cheery type of game, and not a lot of games are like that.
Yeah, I think so. I would say that Color Splash one I was talking about is another one like that. But if Sunshine's like that, that sounds fun.
Yeah, like it was definitely a water mechanic that you had to bring. A lot. I think there was paint as well. You're talking GameCube, so you're talking a while ago in the memory banks. But I loved my GameCube. I thought that was a great little system.
I have a bunch of GameCube games too. I loved it.
I think obviously if we're talking Mario, then the next thing, I think New Super Mario Brothers. I think that's an easy no-brainer. Now they've kind of did that a little bit, didn't they, with the new one?
They kind of did it with they put it on the Switch again, didn't they?
I thought that was the one from Wii. I thought that was the one from Wii U that they brought back out.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Now I remember playing that Mario with some friends, and that was a lot of fun. So that seems like an obvious choice of just put out, a collection of all four of them for $60 or $100, however they want to charge for it. We'll pay it.
We will.
What are some other obvious ones?
I thought, I know you had the Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, right?
I did. I didn't play Skyward, but I was, the swan song of the GameCube was Twilight Princess.
You're right. It kind of was.
Well, it was so late that it came out for both systems. So I love that game. I think Twilight's one of the better Zelda games, and that's a tough list to crack, but
I loved it too. I got it when it came out for the Wii. I didn't get it on the GameCube, but I loved it. I thought it was a great game.
I think it gets a lot of flack in the same way that like Wind Waker got some flack for its different directions. But I loved every minute of it. I love that mature older Link, darker game, which Zelda
was kind of dark. It was dark, yeah.
Yeah, but Zelda's always had that. It just it's only certain segments, whereas this one was more of the entire game was darker.
I think Skyward Sword, there were some elements like that too. I think Skyward Sword got more back actually than Twilight Princess. I enjoyed it a lot, but I know there were a lot of people who didn't as much.
I mean, critically, it got extremely high marks, I thought. But
it's good to know.
Yeah. I think I've got a few Zelda fanatic friends, and they held Skyward Sword very highly. Now, I'm of a gamer that I'd much rather play a remake of that because one of the reasons I didn't get a Wii was all the motion controls. Like I want to relax when I'm playing my games, not like do all kinds of crazy stuff.
You know what? With Skyward Sword, I don't know if you remember this or if you knew about this, but on the Wiimote, they made you attach this thing to the bottom of the Wiimote for like extra motion control or whatever, and so it became this really long Wiimote.
Oh yeah, the Motion Plus thing, yeah.
Yeah, the Motion Plus, yeah. So then that's what they used in Skyward Sword, and I was really excited about the aspect. I was like, oh, it's going to be cool. I can go around swinging like I'm swinging a sword, but then I will say about the controls, it wasn't as precise as I would have hoped, and I just found myself kind of swinging back and forth a lot too much.
I think that was the problem with a lot of games. Like, it just wasn't able to be precise.
Yes, I think that kind of might squelch my excitement about that aspect a little bit.
That's and then so Super Paper Mario is you like that one?
Yeah, I thought that was a great game too. I'd love to see that remade.
I mean, why not? I don't see why. What Nintendo first party title are they not going to bring back out?
I actually thought they should bring back Metroid Other M. I really liked that game a lot. Metroid Other M was a really good game on the Wii.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, that was kind of more in the classic Metroid fashion, right?
Oh, you mean like dimensional, or what do you mean?
As opposed to Prime.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think Other M was kind of an outcast. It was kind of different. I thought it was different than pretty much all the other Metroid games. It was a kind of more... I remember it being more cinematic in a way. It was kind of different.
Interesting. Now, I'm old school on Metroid, you know, the original one for the NES and the Super Metroid.
Super Metroid, yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, that's more, when I think of Metroid, that's what I think of, where I think, you know, younger gamers are thinking Prime, like, and they're dying for Prime 4.
Yeah, I mean, that would still excite me, but I'd be even more excited about, you know, Super Metroid remake.
That's what I'm saying. I think the world needs games like that.
They do, yeah.
And I think that's one of the ones, you know, me and Dalton kind of talked about games that you can't do. I think like you could do that one and do it quite well.
I think they could. I mean, I think that's one they could touch.
Yeah, and as long as they kept it 2D, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you with Other M, I think if you're looking for that style of Metroid, that's not it. But I just think it's a great game that needs to be remade. At least if you're remaking Wii games.
No Wii Sports. None of the Mario and Sonic Olympics. No, we want some real
Super Monkey Ball HD.
Yes, that's what we need, right? Any other ones that do need to be remade?
Actually, I know they kind of remastered this recently, but I think Okami, they could actually remake it. I mean, I think it was such a great game.
I loved Okami on PS2. That was a gorgeous game.
I thought it was great. And I only ever played it on the Wii, but I mean, I didn't realize. I actually didn't even realize it was out on PS2.
Yeah, like actually, that's one game I would say would actually probably work better on the Wii, because you had to like hold in like R2 and then like do the motion brushes with the stick at the same time. It worked for the most part, but I could see that would actually be perfect for the Wii.
It was pretty good drawing the things. I remember drawing all those things. It was nice. It was satisfying on the Wii.
Yeah, instead of just, I mean, I can't draw anyway, so let alone try to do it with a controller. No. Not going to work out so well.
Man, did you ever play World Ends With You before on the DS or not?
No, I had a DS for a good portion of time, and I've heard nonstop good things about that one, where there are battles going on both screens at the same time. Is that what happens? Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going on both screens, but the reason I only brought it up is because of the drawing element you brought up. There is a lot of drawing.
Oh.
And there's a lot of tapping. So I just remember I was fighting, I think, the final boss on a plane ride next to my wife, and it was just very intense. So all of a sudden I start tapping and everybody starts looking at me, because I'm tapping like a woodpecker on the screen, and I just remember kind of freaking everybody out with that. So it can get pretty intense.
The other thing that would have been better is if you had headphones on and were like yelling very loudly at the same time.
I think I don't even know if I was breathing because it gets so intense. I think my face was red.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't think I do very well with any sort of drawing on the pad.
It was tough.
Did they redo that one?
It's been re-released on the Switch. I didn't get that one, but yeah, it's on the Switch now.
How does that work? I
don't know how they ended up doing that, but I mean, I will say the story is fantastic. So if you are okay with the drawing, I would really recommend it. But if you just don't want to deal with it, understandable.
Yeah, maybe you don't have to. I guess you'd have to do it some way, shape, or form. Just get a stylus or something.
I don't know how they do it on there. Yeah,
those crazy people. Who knows how they do that? I don't have any other remakes. Do you?
No, that's a pretty short list. Like I did the same thing. I was sitting here, looking through my stack of Wii games. It's right here, and I just was like, yeah, I really can't see any other ones.
No, I mean,
like Kirby's Epic Yarn. I don't know, not really.
No, I mean that has its place, and they did Yoshi the same thing practically with the yarn. Yeah. So, and I mean Mario Kart is the same game that they've done 3 times now. They brought it back out on the Wii U, and then they did it again with the Switch. So I think if we need a brand new Mario Kart completely before we start remaking that one.
I think so, and you probably don't remake ones like, Mario Super Sluggers, like the baseball game. You probably don't do that either.
No, the soccer one, no, we're not doing. Now,
oh man, I have a lot of stories to tell about that game, but I'll save that for some other time.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say the only Mario sports game that I want is Mario Golf. I love those games.
I loved Mario. Oh, I love Mario Golf.
And is the last one GameCube? Have we not got one? They did a 3DS one, which was garbage.
Yeah.
I hated that game. Did you like it?
I hated it. I never ended up continuing it. I kind of dropped it.
I played that game. I was so looking forward to that. Put money in, put it in there. I'm like, what's it give you? Like 2 courses or something? And it's bad. It's not a good game.
It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, I was very disappointed.
No, they did the same thing with Hot Shots. I don't know if you play those on PlayStation.
Heard of it, but I never played it.
They've made like 5 of those games, and I loved them all. And then they brought a new one out for PS4 and completely changed everything about it. It was just, I was so disappointed. What? It's a golf game. You don't need to reinvent a golf game.
They try to do too many different things. I mean, I still love the Mario, and the N64 one is awesome still.
Oh yeah, that's what they need. Just go back and redo both of those. Put all the courses from those on there. Bring your Mario characters, and the thing will sell like crazy.
I think it would. I think it'd be great.
I don't see why they haven't. Nintendo, get to it.
We have some letters to write to Nintendo.
I don't write letters. I'll just send angry voicemails or something.
That's more effective. Yeah.
Just make random YouTube posts, and they'll get it eventually.
I'll get their attention.
Yeah. So I've got 2 games that absolutely do not need to be remade from the Wii.
Okay.
Do you have a couple or 2?
I've got one, at least that's very strong, I think, that I don't want to see remade.
Okay, so I have one, and to be fair, I didn't play it, but only because it got terrible everythinged. And you know me in Dragon Quest. I did not play I did not play the Dragon Quest Swords game.
Never did either. No, I did not.
It looked so bad, and again, you had to do the motion slashes. I think you had to block as well. It looked kind of like poo. And on top of that,
that's never a good selling point for a game.
It's not. Like the cover, everything else looks right. And then I was like, I'm going to at least read up on this before getting it because I've never heard of this. And yeah, I'm glad I passed on that one.
Oh, I guess I'll be passing on it too because I never had thought about playing it. Now I definitely won't. So.
I'd pick it up for the collection if I saw it cheap, but I would never actually play it.
I can understand that.
So which one do we not want to see from you?
I'm thinking that a sequel to Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World.
Then we are in agreement, sir.
Yeah. And that should not be remade.
I loved Symphonia was my first Tales game.
I love that game. Yeah.
Loved it so much, and it's hard. I don't know if you tried to go back and play it. It's so slow. It's kind of really hard to do. But
I would say I played it 5 years ago. I still enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's still enjoyable, but after playing every other one since then, it feels kind of sloggy.
It does, yeah, it does.
But the characters make up for it because they're great.
Lloyd is great. Yeah.
Lloyd is great, except for when he's the supposed bad guy in Dawn of the New World.
I don't even want to talk about this.
They dropped every ball they could possibly do with that game. Man, it was.
I just don't know how they even made the game. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't either. I don't know if they just. It wasn't like a bestseller or anything that needed a sequel or demanded it. Other than, hey, we got a system and please give us a JRPG to somebody to play. That's the only thing I can figure Nintendo asked for.
Oh, I got it for about $9, so I guess I got my money's worth.
90 or 9?
9.
Okay.
It's 9.
That I was about to say, I don't know, man.
Not 90.
I couldn't think of one other than you get to see the characters again and have them in your party for 5 minutes at a time, and then they're back out and they're replaced by a monster. Because you recruit monsters, because that's what Tales games are about.
I really didn't like that. I mean, maybe that was their selling point, that they just wanted you to see the characters for a little bit again. I don't know.
I guess. And they could have made a more annoying character than Emil. I don't know how.
Oh my God.
So thank God they learned their lesson, and we did not get any more of those, or it get never ever to see the light of day again. And the best part was when they brought out that collection on PS3. Like,
oh yeah.
Don't acknowledge that game even exists. No.
I couldn't believe it appeared again. I was like, I can't believe I'm seeing this again.
Like, I know it's thrown into this collection, but you're charging me money for something I don't ever want to see again. It's
if you're a collector, you might still want to have it anyway.
That was one of the few ones. I think it was super cheap on a PSN sale, so I've got it sitting on my PS3. But that's the only way.
But you never played it.
No, God, I think I actually played it through just because, and it never gets any better.
I can't believe you did that to yourself.
I don't know. I love Symphony. I thought maybe it's going to redeem itself at some point, and Lloyd's going to jump in here, and everything's going to be all well. Of course, it was on PS3, so I didn't have to deal with all the stupid controls.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, we shall never speak of Dawn of the New World again, hopefully.
I hope not. I mean, I'm looking forward to Tales of Arise, and I'm just not looking backward. So
yes. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Please come out this year. Please.
I mean, is there a holdup or something? I thought it was pretty much set that it's this year.
It is. We just haven't heard a peep. I mean, it's been a long time since anything. Yeah. Now, obviously, this is exactly the time of year that when we should, about when E3 is going to be going on. But I mean, everything else has just been pushed back. So it's kind of like, please don't let that have gotten affected too much.
I hope it didn't. I mean, actually, to be honest, I was thinking one Tales that's in my backlog that I haven't played yet is Tales of Hearts R. Did you play it?
I love that game. Oh, yeah, for the Vita? Yeah.
Yeah, I have it, yeah.
It's different, obviously, because there's no English. So I don't know if you play, with Japanese voices anyway. But, yeah, there's no English whatsoever in that one.
I haven't loaded it up yet. The way I play the Vita games is I don't actually have like a port. I don't have the Vita system. I have PlayStation TV, and it actually has the guts of a Vita, so I can actually put a Vita cartridge in there, and I play all the games on the big screen.
That's fantastic. I hope that it stretches out well. It wasn't the best looking game on my Vita, if I recall, but everything else is pure Tales. It's good stuff.
Oh, I figured it'll probably look okay because I played all the Trails of the Sky trilogy on there, and it looked good. So I think that should be fine then.
I loved how Sky is so pretty. It's such a pretty looking game for that time period.
I love it. I mean, it's just like a JRPG comfort food or something. It's just really good.
Not enough people know about those. I think most of them. There's a lot of people like myself who came in with Cold Steel and didn't know what Trails was, and then, I mean, you go back. Everybody's got Steam and a PC that'll play it. It takes literally nothing. So. Definitely, I'd recommend anybody go out there and grab that one.
Oh, there's another time where I wasted money because a while ago, before I played Trails in the Sky, I bought Trails of Cold Steel for PS3. Never played it, and then now, of course, I've purchased it on the PS4. So there you go.
Well, there you go. Well, I mean, you have no reason to play it back on PS3. That 4 definitely, they did a good job in enhancing it. So.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'll be playing a good version of it then.
I mean, at least you're not like me and have it for PS3, Vita, and PS4. But
I have it for Vita as well.
Oh yeah, I got it. Okay. I need my Trails at all time apparently.
Oh, I can understand that.
Yeah. Oh, just a quick. By the way, I found my Vita finally.
Oh, you did? I remember you've been talking about that for a while.
I've been talking about it since we moved like 6 months ago because I haven't been able to find it. My wife randomly comes walking in with it one day, like she found it in some yarn stash somewhere. I don't know.
Yarn stash.
If you've seen, you need to see my wife's office one day. It's like going to a yarn store. It's just full of everything. I don't know how it got in there.
I really hope it still works just like it used to.
Well, if I can get it charged, I don't. If you have fun with Vitas before, but their charge port gets notoriously messed up.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to wrap the cord around the system and make sure it's at a certain angle, plugged in before it'll even begin to charge. It's really weird.
I didn't even know that, because all the Vita games, I mean, I own a bunch of Vita games, but I just, I've been playing them on the big screen on that PlayStation TV. So
you've told me about that before, so I may need to finally just, I've got a TV here in my office, so it would make sense to, if I can still find one on eBay or something.
It's pretty awesome. I got mine for $60, and that's how I ended up playing Persona 4 Golden for the first time that way too. I mean, I had a great time.
That's such a great game. Oh my gosh. Have you played 3?
Oh, it's in my backlog. I got the PS2 FES version sitting right here and haven't opened it yet.
I was literally about to say, like, just make sure you play that, because I didn't care for portable at all.
Okay.
It was made to be it was for the original PSP, so it was kind of like, they downgraded it quite a bit, I felt, from the PlayStation 2 version.
I'm going to have this version, and I just hope I get to it sometime before I'm really, really old.
I doubt it. I mean, we're going to be 60 years old playing PlayStation 2 and Vita games. I have a feeling.
I'm sure it'll be just as fun.
I hope so. I don't see why it wouldn't be. All right, Jordan, I think we're going to wrap this shindig up, and unless there's anything else you want to throw out there.
Sounds good. I think we talked about a lot of stuff.
No, we always have fun on this. We'll have to do this again. I don't know what for, but I appreciate you being on the show, and appreciate you listening, and hopefully we'll have you back here real soon, okay?
Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
Awesome, dude. All right, so that's going to wrap up this Sunday Special 18. We've been talking Xenoblade, Wii games. We went off on all sorts of tangents, but that's kind of the way these conversation goes. We thank you guys so much for listening in this Sunday, every Sunday. Don't forget, catch our weekly news podcast every Wednesday. And hey, Jordan, do you want to say the closing for us?
Back out there. Level up.